This concludes our weekly test of the Emergency Alert System.
You know, our huge variety of talk shows makes us the station of tomorrow. So, if you don't like what you hear, be sure to tune back in then.
WSIC.
Local starts here.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
And welcome. This is the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. We're coming to you live from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars. You can reach them at Birkdale Village. Go on by there. They have some burner deals. You like that, Wilton? I came up with that. I just came up with that my own self. Go by Burners and tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. You are listening to Local Biz Now. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone, and we've been doing this going on strong for 11 years. We have well over 852 small business and community leader interviews that we have done over the years. We have well over 600 videos on the tubes. Go on by there. Please subscribe to Joe Vagnone Business Broker. Again, Joe Vagnone Business Broker on YouTube, and subscribe. And there's a bunch of interesting stuff, a lot of information for you small business people as well. And today we will put this show on there as well, because there's a lot of information you're going to get today from a brand new author that we look forward to sharing with you on the second half of the show. We're also live on the book, on the tubes, on the chain, on the X. And for those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. And please go on by there. I'm monitoring Facebook. So if you go by there and you want to chit-chat or you want to make fun of Wilton, our board operator, I will be more than happy to let you do that. Thank you so much. And every month we have a co-host for the entire month. This month is no exception. And we have the exceptional, spectacular Solonia Wade-Baskins, a.k.a. Solo. She is the co-owner of Progressive Business Finance. Solo, how you doing today, babe?
I'm doing good, feeling good, and
how'd I do on the intro? Did I get the name right
you
today?
You did an excellent job.
Solonia.
Listen, Solonia. And the intro, you need to get
Solonia.
Solonia. But you need to give
Solo.
my husband some pointers. Yes.
Did your husband accept my nickname that I gave you?
He did. He loved it.
Or did he say, that ain't going to happen?
You know what? Everybody accepted it. I got people on my Facebook saying, hey, Solo. I'm like, hey.
We got
it. You got it.
That's what we do
I
here
think you got the
at WSIC.
I think you got it.
Okay, so for those that do not remember, what is Progressive Business Finance?
So Progressive Business and Finance is that we use private lenders and investors. So we are the non-traditional, alternative, creative way of helping business owners get funds, the funds they need to proceed and progress.
So last week I said, after they hear no 2 or 3 times, go see Solo.
There you go. Yep.
The truth is, I wish they'd come see you before they do all that, because it sounds like you can help them know what to expect before they even go to the formal institutions and that sort of stuff.
That is a great point. And I only say that is because some people think that we are in competition with the banks. But the truth of the matter is we build relationships with the banks because we help the banks groom and mold the business owners so that when they come into the banks, they're not discouraged. And so we build a lot of relationships with the banks, and we get into the banks because we want to know how to help our business owners when they walk into the banks, what they need, what expectations, what is needed. And so we are here to groom. So that's a perfect excellent point that if they come to us first.
So most people that know me know I kind of shy away from letting finance guys and bankers in the room. You understand that?
Absolutely.
They kind of bother me.
Listen, we're like
They
the tax
rub me.
collector, right?
They
We're like,
don't- that's right. They're not much help. They do a lot of
Listen.
talking, but they don't
Listen.
really deliver. But you are
Absolutely.
different, and I think it's because your story starts as an entrepreneur's daughter, right? So
absolutely.
again, briefly, just you don't have to go back to 1963.
I'm not.
But just kind of touch on that because it really does let all of the small business people know when they're talking to you, you understand where they're coming from, wherever it is that they are in their process.
Yes. My compassion starts absolutely there. My father was and I say business owner, not entrepreneur, because it's totally two different things. And I can come from a business owner's point of view and a family member as a daughter and
Right.
relate to how we are viewing, right, our fathers or our moms out there. And I say moms now because women, we are out there. We have more businesses than you can imagine. We are blowing up. And so I can say, listen, I understand what you're going through, and I can see it from both points of view. And so I'm here to kind of maneuver you and help you say, listen, how can we change the way you're doing things? How can we change your mindset?
You know, your statement it kind of reminds me of a while ago I was asked to do some talking at some executive master's program for Tark Hill the University and also Appalachian State. And when I would start the conversation, I would say, when I grew up, and remember, I was self-employed at 17 years old. An entrepreneur was not a positive term.
No.
It was the guy that couldn't keep a job. It was the it was the guy that couldn't stay focused on just one thing, right?
That's it.
It was a guy that couldn't get a job, right? You know what I
Yes.
mean? And so when I hear entrepreneur, it's not a positive statement for me. And I'm looking in the room of all these wonderful, spectacular, fabulous people, and I say to them, the truth is, from where I'm coming from, if you were really an entrepreneur, you wouldn't be in this room. And so, well, now they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to be in that room, so they didn't really appreciate my. So I haven't been invited back. You understand to those places. But the point I was trying to make is, it really is this lifestyle. It is ingrained in you. You do not want a boss. You do not want somebody telling you
Absolutely.
when and how, and you are prepared to work extremely hard so you don't have those things.
Yes.
That's your dad. I mean,
That's true. But my only thing about a business owner or entrepreneur is that when you're an employee first, you have to get out of the mindset of an employee. And
Right.
a lot of business owners, they're still in that mindset.
right.
They are still working hard every day, tirelessly on their own business, but they're still doing the same thing that they were doing because their mindset is still the same.
It's interesting you say that because I got a new author that we're going to talk with today.
There you
That's
go.
going to describe something I have seen. Actually, I probably make a living off this because I probably sell a lot of businesses from owners that just need a vacation more than they need to sell their business. So this is a book I might not want anybody to know about. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to bring her in on the conversation.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Whoa. When we come back, first, we're going to talk about what you think are the skills to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready. Let's
Okay,
get
are you
into
ready
it.
for this?
Oh yeah, your business matters.
Okay, but you jumped the gun.
Oh.
Because you gotta let me say you are listening to Local Biz Now if it's Monday afternoon.
Now your business matters.
Yeah, we'll be
There you
right
go.
back.
We'll return to local
Okay, that's perfect.
entrepreneur Joe Vagnone in just a moment on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Now you got Julie saying it too.
Your business matter. Got it.
Do you know DJ Potentry?
By early Tuesday morning. Sunny,
don't know him.
less humid, and
Don't know that.
comfortable. High temperature
Somebody saying hi to you.
Tuesday afternoon.
I don't know.
But enjoy it while it's here.
Oh, and Julie saying how much she loved Wilton.
Of the weekend. Not much
How can you
that
not
gotta
love
stop
Wilton?
right there.
Solo.
You not love him.
Solo is like, it needs to be a hashtag.
I
Solo.
know, right?
Solo.
Hashtag
And it
solo.
goes with the financing, you know.
Hashtag solo.
Solo.
I'm telling you, people are like, hey, solo. I'm
You
like,
should make it.
okay.
Is it just SOLO?
SOLO.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna call you Solo because it's great.
Listen, Joe made that up last
Brand
month.
that all over the
She
place.
said
There you go. It is a winner, right?
What she's really saying, Solo, is I'm a genius.
That's
and you getting the benefit of my geniosity.
There you go. Listen, blessing's supposed to flow. There you go. Flow. Blessing's supposed to flow. There
Okay.
you go. I receive it.
All right. So we come back, we're going to talk about this, right? Okay, we got a minute and 27 seconds before we got to worry about it. Now, I don't really
There it is.
know
Okay.
how that works, that big chart. Wilton keeps throwing that up there because what he wants me to do is like think how smart he is. You know, he got to follow all this. And he got to track all this. He got to have all these colors and such. And Joe don't know how to do it.
I
You
get it.
understand?
I've seen the software before. I've seen something very similar to this.
You got him
one.
beat, don't you?
Me? No.
Yeah. You tell Wilton you got this. You tell Wilton we got this.
That's what's playing right now. That's what's
That's
coming
right.
next, and then we come into the
Yep.
come into the show.
There you go.
I've been here a year, and I just now figured out the colors mean something.
That's all that really matters for us. Countdown, the countdown to going back live, and then the.
Okay, Julie got on the book. If you need a loan, you call Solo, because
Okay.
your financing will be so low.
We won't promise that.
Yes, right.
I
I
got
don't
it.
want to promise that.
Don't promise that.
I went too far with the market.
Yeah,
didn't I?
too far.
I
That's
went
too far.
didn't I?
Too far, Joe. Too far.
Nobody really likes him. He got no friends.
That is so.
It's always the producer's job to keep everybody on track. Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody got to do it. Solo, you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone continues now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you live from Burner Cigar Studio, home of great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located at Birkdale Village. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is Monday afternoon, where your business matters. And I am here with Solo, co-owner of Progressive Business Finance. Solo, how you doing, darling?
I'm doing good.
So you cannot be co-host unless you bring some information to talk about.
Absolutely.
You sent me some information that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
It just so happens it's about entrepreneur skills.
Yes.
So you want to go over these?
Absolutely.
You ready?
Let's break it down.
You want me to read a few and then you can tell me what you think about it? Is that what you want to do?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So here's a few skills, and you're saying here are some ways to develop being an entrepreneur. Oh, you're trying to act like the professor that kicked me out of the Appalachian meeting.
Listen.
Okay. They're saying you could learn how to be an entrepreneur.
Yes. Right.
I'm going to disagree with some of this, but let's try it.
Okay.
Let's try
go.
it.
Let's go.
Define your goals. Establish your business objectives, strengths, and weaknesses, and what you want to achieve. I got no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're good with that.
Well, so my problem with that is that a lot of business owners, they don't define their goals. They just step into the business or whatever they want to do because they love to do it,
I
right?
want to make a lot of
And
money, or
that's it.
I want to make pizza.
I want to do this, and I want, and they just run into it. And listen, the next pretty shiny thing, that's what they like. But my advice is that you should plan out, sit down, do a business plan, and plan 10 years. And if you know where you want to be in 10 years, you make different choices. You're strategically making decisions because you know if I make this decision, it's going to bring me closer to my goal of 10 years. Versus if you're just stepping into it, you're just trying to get one day at a time. You're just making decisions just to get your penny pinching. You're just trying to make it to the next day. But if you have a goal, you write them down, you define them, you know them, your decisions are different.
And so I'm going to tell you a story. Years ago, I had my very first job. Actually, it was really the only person I ever actually worked for in a serious basis. Had to get off 2 school buses, and I was 13 years old. And I worked there for him on the weekends, probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years, something like that. And I knew I wanted to own a restaurant. And so every decision I made was just based on, will that get me closer to owning a restaurant? And my younger years were so much easier than my older and younger brother who just didn't know what they wanted to do. Exactly. And so for me, they would look at me and they would just in envy, not that Joe was washing dishes or working in a restaurant, but that I knew exactly what I wanted, which was to own a restaurant. And I'll tell you, for all of you people out there, everybody out there listening, there is something that gives honor and credibility and respect when somebody stands up and says, I want to do X.
Exactly.
And that gets other people to catch on to your dream and help you do that.
That's right. And it brings that energy in.
Okay. Right? So the next thing is you got to continue to learn.
Listen.
I mean, I don't care if you go to school or not. You are going to be a lifelong learner or you will not succeed.
If you're not growing, you're dying. And how do you continue to grow? By learning, because you got to stay competitive, right? And how is that? And that's anything, podcasts, YouTube, read books, right? Talk to people, learn. Learning is an everyday thing. And it evolves and grows your thought process.
And nowadays you can do that online with these online.
That's it. It's very simple.
The world's not impossible.
Make time for it. A lot of people don't make time to do the important things, right? Make time for it.
Here's a tricky one.
There you go.
Look for a mentor. Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is my experience. Because I had that goal that we talked about, it was easy for me to find people that wanted to help me get there. The people that were skilled at that, right, liked that this young man had this goal, right? Maybe a little ambitious, maybe he ain't that bright, but I'm gonna help him out anyway. You know what I mean? So for me, if you set your goals and people see you moving in that direction, and you're telling people where you want to go, I don't think it's going to be that hard to find a mentor.
And people like it.
That's right.
People like to talk to you about what they are experts at, and they want to bring you along. And so instead of you sitting back and saying, well, they got that, and just looking at them, wondering how did they get it, ask.
Yep.
Because they will give it to you, say, listen, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? Can I just talk to you for a little while?
Yep.
Can we have a conversation and be on time? When you make a plan,
be on time.
Be on time. Because that's a big one. I wasn't
expecting that to come out of you.
Be on time. Show up, right? Be consistent. Write a thank you letter. Let them know you appreciate them. They love it. They will give it to you freely.
And here's why. Because you're going to work hard.
Because you're going to work
hard. They're going to see that.
Yes. People love to help people who are motivated.
They want to see a little sweat.
They want to see it.
Have you ever noticed when a man is working, somebody watching him?
All the time.
People love to see somebody working hard.
That's right. And no matter, you could be a janitor. They see you and they say, he be working. I like him. They're going to bring you water. They see you working hard. People love that. They love it, the motivation.
That is real respect. People don't realize that. When they see you working, they like that.
They like it.
This one I don't get. Be adaptable. Stay open to change and embrace. Oh, I get it now. Change and embrace new ideas and opportunities. You know, the generation we lived in, it's been so. My son doesn't even know what a tape cassette is. 8-track tape. When I say the word 8-track tape, he doesn't even understand it.
That's it. They don't understand it.
The world is just a completely different.
Completely different. And now when I say be adaptable, is that when you start a business or whatever you want to do in life, you may say, I'm going to do it this way and learn that way it's not working. A lot of people just want to drop it and move on to the next venture when actually you just may need to be adaptable. Change your thought process. If this way is not working, what can work? Who else is doing it that has been successful? Maybe my idea you don't know everything. And you're not going to. But be adaptable because the things that you thought will work in the beginning will not always work. Why? Because in a business, people are changing. So it's not just you.
Right.
You have to understand that the economy is changing. Your environment is changing. Your community is changing. The generation is changing. Be adaptable.
Yep.
Allow yourself to grow.
Okay. I got it now.
There you go.
Foster a growth mindset. Focus on continuous learning and seek out new opportunities. This is interesting because if you don't do that, you'll see that a really good business that you built, people are just simply leapfrogging over you. They're creating opportunities and competition that just beats what you created that 3 years ago was on top.
Yes. You know what I realized that people focus more on control than growth. They want to control everything around them. They want to control their business. They want to control. No, teach people, be systematic, but focus on growth. Because if you want to control everything, then you're limiting your options and your opportunities to grow. So you can't control every aspect of your business by saying, I'm doing everything myself, and this is the way it has to happen. Teach people, put in systems, teach them how to understand what you want. Teach them your mission. So when you get somebody, they know your mission statement. They know what goal you're working towards. And when you get good people in there and you allow them to bring in ideas,
right?
When you allow them to grow with you, when you allow them to say, it helps, right? You can't control everything. Be more focused on growth versus you controlling everything.
You know, it's interesting. Julie just typed on here that she sees me as her mentor, and she's been with me about 9.5, almost 10 years. And it started out that what I knew I had to do was continue to educate her, give her information so that I can do something we're going to talk about in a minute, which is delegate and move on. Matter of fact, when I first hired her, she used to get mad at me because I'd say, now, Julie, there's only one reason why you're here, because you're going to do something I don't want to do. And the other reason is I can't do it, right? You know what I mean? There's only 2 reasons you ever hire anybody. But you have to train them well, and you have to give them the authority and responsibility to make that change. And that is what most entrepreneurs have a really tough time doing.
Yes. They want to control everything.
Yes.
They want to control it. And it's like, but you're not growing. Other people have good ideas as well.
That's right.
Some people, you may hire somebody that may be better in one area than you are, and that's okay.
That's right.
And they may, but allow that. Allow them to grow.
I want you to hear Solo say this because after 10 years, I can say that Julie is absolutely exceptional, and everybody needs a Julie.
A Julie.
And you don't just hire a Julie. You work with, you train, you trust, you empower, you absolutely give them what they need to succeed so they know they're a part of what's happening here.
Exactly, that they're appreciated.
Exactly.
You might even fight with a Julie sometimes.
Oh, there's all manner of fighting going on.
But that's okay.
Oh, there's some epic fights. There's no question about
Julie?
that.
Everybody needs a Julie.
Well, maybe everybody don't need that. So this is important because this is the kind of advice that you give people when they come to you, which makes it a clearer vision that the bank can see why they want to be a part of this.
Exactly. Yes. The bank wants them to be structured on top of financially. You want to walk into the bank confidence, knowing what you're saying, knowing what you're doing, and know that you're moving, you're growing, right? The bank don't want to take risks. They don't want to. They're not gonna risk on you.
That's right.
They're not gonna put.
You can't say trust me. They don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear trust me. They want to know, oh, your business is going to grow, and you're gonna have to prove it to them on that paper, right? Financially and with what you're writing, how you're saying, how you're presenting yourself. What is your mindset? And that's what the bank wants.
And Solo going to help you do it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So let's go to break. When we come back, we're going to introduce our guest. You are listening to Solo, co-owner of Progressive Business and Finance. If it's Monday afternoon, say it.
Where your business matters.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Oh, she's starting to sing it now.
We'll return to Local Biz Now with entrepreneur Joe Bagnone in just a moment on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
One fight last week.
Well, it's the low humidity that really makes all the difference. Under a clear sky and low humidity,
Joe don't know nothing about this.
Will fall into the low 60s.
Joe don't know nothing about this.
Overnight, some spots around the farms may even see upper 50s by early Tuesday morning.
Nobody likes him
Sunny,
either.
Less humid and comfortable. It's high temperatures climbing to the 80s for Tuesday afternoon. But enjoy it while it's here. Blazing hot and humid by the end of the weekend.
First
Not much rain.
I'm on the board.
That's your forecast from the
And you can imagine
WSIC
it was
Weather
a little
Center.
Yeah, so that's all he talking about, Hanjo. That's all he remembers. None of the good stuff, right? None of the good stuff.
He's been here for a year now. He got his own show.
And he's still
killing
talking
it,
about
sports
that.
guy. But that don't matter because I know him in one way only. His first show.
If you need home medical equipment, call Lowry Drug in Statesville. We have everything you need in stock, including portable oxygen concentrators, CPAPs, masks, lift chairs, wheelchairs, scooters, hospital beds, supplies, and anything else you need. Get it when you need it. Check out LowryDrug.com or call 704-873-2247. Lowry Drug, your hometown source since 1959, across from Iredell Memorial Hospital. We are worth the drive. Come see us.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at IredellHealth.org.
If you're a builder and you haven't been to Little Shavers Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shavers Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and
I just
on
saw his
with your
face
day.
light up.
Little Shavers Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shavers
No,
Wood
actually,
Shop.
what you guys do is really hard.
Shavers.com.
Actually do a
This is a
show
Bloomberg Money
and
Minute.
run the
Just
board.
minutes to go ahead of
The
Wall
only
Street's
good thing
closing
is
bell,
you
and
know
stocks are on track to end the day.
timing
Little
of in and
change,
out and that
but
kind of
with
stuff,
some modest
you can
gains,
control
that's ahead
that.
of
But other
Wednesday's
than that,
1-2 punch of a
it
Fed
would be very
decision on
hard.
interest rates and the latest reading on consumer inflation.
I'm glad I
Right
didn't
now,
hear.
the Dow is up just a small fraction.
Probably
The
not.
Nasdaq and the S&P each up
He
about
said once
a
you
quarter
figure
percent.
that out, he's out
Shares
of
of
a
Apple
job.
are not helping the
He ain't got
markets.
nothing
They're
to worry
actually
You ain't got
down 2%, even though
He got
Apple
Musk to
unveiled
worry
its
about,
long-awaited
Julie got
plans
to
on
worry about.
artificial
How about that?
intelligence using OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot, promising tech that's personalized and safe and available using its Siri voice assistant starting this fall. with the
Okay, we ready to
upcoming
go?
iPhone 16.
Let's do it.
Shares of Southwest
it.
Airlines up
Julie
7%
Reed.
after an activist investor disclosed a big stake in the company now wants to oust its CEO.
Julie B, are
for
you
years
ready?
of underperformance.
I'm ready to do it. Let's
And
go.
6 months after a door
Let's
plug
go.
blew off one of its jets mid-flight, some good news for Boeing. It's close to getting a $2 billion order for 737 MAX jets from El Al. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Now back to Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Vagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live business radio show in North Carolina, coming to you live from Burner Cigar Studio. Speaking of that, fire it up, Wilton.
From rescuing lives to rescuing your senses, I'm Josh Johnson, and Burner Cigar is a go-to escape for relaxation. Let the aroma and flavor of our cigars rescue your senses from the everyday hustle. Experience a new level of unwind.
And if you were watching on the book right now, or the tubes, or the X, you would see that I'm holding up a sign that says, "This cigar is on Joe." And what I want you to know is if you go by Burners, we're going to ask you to hold a sign like this, and we're going to give you a free cigar every time you do that, as long as you drop it on social media. Please go on by Burner Cigars, and your first cigar is on me. And if you want additional cigars, they have burning prices. You like that, Wilton? You liked where I did that, Wilton? It is an exceptional place. They're just some great people. Why don't you go ahead and light up and hang out in the lounge? They'll be more than happy to talk with you. Just a great group of people. Go on by Burner Cigars in Birkdale Village. They're in the same parking lot as Dick's Sporting Goods. And your first cigar is on me. Thank you so much, guys, for being a sponsor. We appreciate that. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. And if it's Monday afternoon,
Your business matters.
yeah, that was Solonia Baskin, a.k.a. Solo. She is a co-owner of Progressive Business Finance, and she's my co-host for the entire month. And now we're going to introduce our next guest. I am so excited to introduce to you a brand new author of the book Burned: How Business Owners Can Overcome Burnout and Fuel Success, Julie B. Julie, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Solo, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to this discussion.
So you've heard me and Solo bantering back and forth. So I apologize if you want to pack up and leave. Now's a good time to do that.
You said everyone needs a Julie, and I can be that Julie.
That's right.
So I'm here. You got it.
That's right. So let me tell you how I started. Because I am Joe. You understand?
Yes.
And Solo, you got to come along on the ride on this.
Listen.
We got a copy of the book before the book even came out.
Wow, look at that. Okay, Julie.
And so the very first thing I read was Julie B's Burned Delivers Actionable Strategies for Entrepreneurs to Conquer Burnout and Thrive. Finally, you will be burned no more. And the person that gave you that praise is Mike Michaelwitz. I don't know if you know this, but he is my favorite business entrepreneur and author. And so when I read that, I thought, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah,
this is going to be great.
Mike's a great guy. He's written some really prolific books about entrepreneurship. So I was happy to get that one.
How did you meet him?
LinkedIn, of all places.
Oh, wow.
I reached out to him, and we just hit it right off. So social media.
Well, you got me. The minute I read his praise of you, I thought, oh, this is going to be a great book. This is going to be everything I thought it would be, right? So congratulations on getting him to read your book. I wasn't the first one in advance to read the book. Now I see that. So the second thing I want to tell you is I realized you got it. I knew you got it when at the beginning of the book you said, listen, don't start at the beginning and read it all the way through. Yeah. You skip through to the chapters you're interested in, and I'm thinking, she knows how I read. Well, she got me.
I'm an entrepreneur too, so I knew. I was like, there's no way with the attention span that we have. So I made a guide in the first part of the book to let you know where you needed to go when you needed to go there.
Excellent. Yeah. You were just like speaking to me.
Great idea.
Absolutely. She gave me the cliff notes to her book at the beginning of the book. It was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm that shiny object syndrome like you talked about earlier. So all day, every day, there's always a new opportunity. And I thought you gotta know exactly where you need to go in this book to be able to take advantage of it.
So let's back up, because you wrote an exceptional book, a detailed book that not only talks about the problems, where they come from, and why they are bigger for entrepreneurs than they are for everyday people. We'll talk about that in a minute. But how business owners can overcome burnout and then use that fuel to succeed. So I do want to dig into that. But first, let's back up. Give me a little bit of your background and your history. Now, you don't have to go back to 1963, but kind of give me an idea of your personal background.
Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I went to college, got a CPA license, started a marketing agency, sold that last year, and now I got a book deal. And I've been running businesses for almost 20 years at this point. So I've seen so many really great business owners walk away from successful businesses because of burnout. And that was really the fuel to where this came from, along with my own brushes with burnout as well. So today I'm a business strategist and burnout expert. And
if somebody wanted to reach you, how could they reach you?
Best way is on LinkedIn, probably just finding me on TheJulieB as my handle. And that's also my website is TheJulieB.com. So you can find me there and reach out.
So for me, I think I said it in jest, but I was serious. I'm a small business broker. I help people sell small businesses. And a lot of people come to me burnout, frustrated, had enough, right? Now, some of them have harmed their business. Some of them are getting ready to harm their business, right? Which is why your book was so helpful to me as I was reading it. And sometimes my advice to them is take a vacation. But they can't, because they didn't set the business up so that they can step back for at least 2 weeks to a month. You know, one thing Mike talks about in the book is that you have to be able to step away for about 30 days from the business. The business will look different when you come back, and it will be more efficient and productive in certain ways, and you'll know how to fix it in other ways. If you don't do that, then you can't give yourself the break that you talk about in the book.
Yeah, that's one of my indicators for burnout is, can you step away from your business for 2 weeks? No matter the reason, vacation, something happens with family, etc. But if you find yourself in a position where you don't feel like you can step away from your business for a period of 2 weeks, you're setting yourself up for burnout. And I think that's something that a lot of business owners can feel and know and sense. And so that's a good way to know if they're getting close to it or not.
And what I like about that, because I want to piggyback on that and say, you're also diminishing the value of the business, because I have a harder time selling your business if you can't leave it. So how many people want to step into your burn? You know, And so I read this and I'm thinking, this is really good healthy for small business people to see and feel. It sort of gave them some insight, if they're not already burnout, what's coming, whether they like it or not, it's coming.
Yeah, I think most business owners go through burnout at some point or another. I know I've had 2 pretty deep rounds of burnout as a business owner, and I think you have to plan for it. I think you have to be aware of the signs of it, because it will burn your business to the ground. I mean, it's no coincidence that the term burned is a lot of the times what we want to do to our business when you get to that point.
Now, when you get to that point, how do you if you're in a situation where you're feeling burnt out, how do you step out of that?
Yeah, so the first 2 things that I tell business owners to do is the first and foremost, say no to new things, new volunteer opportunities, new speaking engagements, new anything that hasn't been planned and isn't like a once in a lifetime opportunity. That's the first thing. The second thing is take a look at what initiatives you have on your plate. So those bigger picture initiatives that you're working on, and see what you can just temporarily pause. And just, it's a temporary pause. It's not forever, but just to give yourself some space and some time to deal with the burnout. You've got to say no and then take a few things off your plate before you can actually start working on it.
Okay, let me be clear. You can disagree with me if you want, because in this world, you know, in the radio world, the owner calls that good radio. So feel free to disagree with me.
All right.
But it's my belief this book is not for the everyday person. My wife has worked for the same company for 36 years, right? It is for us entrepreneurs, because you say it in your very first chapter, which is you wrote this for all business owners, that they recognize work and personal lives are and cannot be separated. They're sort of incorporated as one, which is not the case for an employee, where they can simply step away for a day and they're not worried about what's happening tomorrow if they're not there. Whereas an owner, we're worried about what happens tomorrow. Talk about that, because it is a completely different lifestyle. When we lay our head down on our pillow, we're really not sleeping yet, right?
Yeah. I don't think business owners ever stop working. I think we are always thinking about our business in one way or another. Sometimes we get to go on vacations and we're not having to go to the office and sit in front of the computer all the time. But I think even then we're still thinking about our business. Whereas the person who works in corporate America or, you know, for other businesses, they can, you know, close down at 5, 6 o'clock at night, go home, be with their families, and they're not thinking about the business. They're thinking about their family lives and all of that. So it is different for business owners. And I don't think that work-life balance really exists for us. I think it's more of that work-life integration that I talk about in the book.
Right. And that's pretty tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then what you do for the first chapter, I told you, I fell in love with you the minute you said it's okay to skip through the book, and here's a
guide.
Here's a guide on how to skip through the book. So I loved it. So you talk about what each chapter is, then you talk about what I'm going to learn, and I get a chance to decide, do I want to learn that? Now you're tricky. You're real tricky, because once I do that for 1 or 2 chapters, and it makes you want to go back to the other chapter and find out why that worked. Yeah. So don't think I don't know what you did to me, but it's excellent. I love it. The way you wrote this, it really is speaking to us small business people.
I appreciate that. I tried to make it as easy as possible to digest and to take away what you needed to get out of it.
Yeah. Let's take a break and we'll come back. We'll talk some more. You are listening to Local Biz Now. We are talking with Julie B., the writer, new author of Burned, How Business Owners Can Overcome Burnout. We'll be right back.
Keep it right here. Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone will return after this short
break.
break.
On
1059, 100.7 WSIC.
Okay.
Local starts here.
Well, burnout all day. Never thought this would be what I would do, though. I gotta tell you.
2.5 minutes, you guys need?
How come when there's pretty women in here, you come in here? But when there ain't no pretty women in here, Joe, I don't see them or nothing.
Right.
He's like, he gets it. You get it.
We're good, buddy. Thank you, man.
Good stuff.
So we good? Is head where you want to head it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in trouble. You done mentioned your wife on the radio.
Did I mention her again? Oh no, she will be mad at me again.
I said, you're gonna be.
Now, does she listen live to your shows, or is she just like?
No.
Do you have to go home?
No,
And be like,
I've been
"You
doing this
should
11
listen
years. I don't know that she's listened to maybe 2 of them.
You should listen.
I gotta say, will you please listen? She don't care about me. 35 years. After 35 years.
35 years.
She
like,
don't.
That's my husband. He just.
35.
Oh.
I thought we had 40 seconds now.
No, I don't know. I need the.
I don't
this
think that's
off,
right.
So you can see where
Weldon
you're.
tricked me. He got a big old block here now. Now I got to look at that.
Look, a minute.
That's the one. Okay.
Countdown.
Hit the green. You got to look at the green. You got to look at the green.
Just all of us staring at the board.
And the blue is my
That's
intro.
what's on live right now. Is just all of us staring at the board.
Are we live?
Well, we're on the. Don't you record the? You
Yes,
continue to go, right?
we are
Oh
live.
well, we're definitely live on the book. There's no
Yeah,
question about
live
that.
on the book, on the
Live.
thing.
We're definitely on the book.
On the who's it, what's it.
Yes, we are.
Well, these are the best clips though. The like where
yes.
they just see us
behind,
talking, the
right?
B-roll,
When that-
the behind the scenes stuff. That's the stuff that people just eat up.
When they hear what you're saying, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Julie, are you from Charlotte? Are you from North Carolina?
I'm from West Virginia, but I've
Oh.
lived here about 18 years now. So
And you,
Really?
why did you come? No, you just
family and work.
Okay.
Hmm? You go.
Well, that's a good spot for it.
News app today.
Did your husband smoke cigars? You won't let him leave.
It's Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
We're gonna have to go check it out, though.
Yeah.
We're close to first day.
Oh yeah. Local Biz Now, where your business matters. I am here with Solo, co-owner of Progressive Business Finance, and I'm also here with a brand new author of a spectacular book called Burned. How business owners can overcome burned and fuel success. Julie B, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So your background is marketing. You got beat up in business, come out of it on top, and decided to write this book and talk to us about how and why you can help us keep it together.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Listen, there's 3 things I think you got to be as an entrepreneur. You got to be resilient, resourceful, and relentless. And those 3 things together, though, sometimes grinding that hard all the time, you're gonna get knocked around sometimes.
So one of the things I read that I really liked, you were trying to explain to people why this is different, that our burnout is different than somebody who works for somebody else who can genuinely be tired and need a vacation. And, you know, I mean, but this is different because it doesn't go away, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a child. Even if they're at camp, you're still thinking about them at camp, right? You know what I mean? And in this case, one of the fundamental differences you describe, it's lonely at the top. The top being the person who has to make the final decision. Talk about that, because people that don't own a small business or work for somebody who owns a small, they miss that point, right? That there's nobody they can really go to because they don't really understand exactly what it is we're going through.
Yeah, when you work for someone else, there's a boss, there's a supervisor, sometimes there's internal coaches and mentors built into the corporation. But when you are the business owner, there's nobody above you. There's nobody to turn to when you're having challenges at work, when you're having challenges with your work-life balance. There's nobody else to turn to. It's you, and you have to fix it. And I think one of the challenging thing is you can't. Your partner doesn't understand, your spouse doesn't understand, your employees aren't going to understand. And a lot of the times, anybody you talk to about it says, well, you kind of chose this path.
That's it.
Well, yeah, you did, but it doesn't mean you should burn out over it. So there's just nobody else to turn to. And that's one of the hardest parts about being a business owner.
And you really hit on something I was embarrassed to admit. But there's reasons for this, right?
Yeah.
One of them is my reputation's on the line. I mean, as much as I love Julie, as much as I honest to God think she would walk through fire for me, right? And she knows that my wife and I would do that for her as well, right? But my reputation is what's at stake, right? She can move on and, it's, oh, that Joe, he had no account, right? And she can move on. I can't walk away from my name and reputation. And I never thought of it that way, but that is a burden, that stays with me. You call it a stress that stays with me. Talk about that because that's kind of insightful, I think.
I think about my local auto mechanic. When I wrote that point, I was specifically thinking about him because he may be the best mechanic in my area, but if he is a jerk, his business will suffer. And likewise, he may be the nicest guy in the world, but if his business isn't great, his personal reputation is going to suffer. So both your business reputation and your personal reputations are so intertwined when you're a business owner, and that you're always thinking about protecting that. One bad review in today's world on either side, your reputation is demolished, and all of the work that you've worked so hard to build can be wiped out very quickly, and that weighs on you.
And I, as a small business person, since I'm 17 years old, I always used to tell myself, I don't really care. Like, it don't matter.
It doesn't.
Because I'm self-employed. I don't need to worry about what somebody else thinks.
But you do.
But I do.
You do.
She got me.
Absolutely.
Like, when I read it, I'm like, yeah, I guess I really do care.
Yeah.
And it's a stress that I got to admit it now. See what you did to me?
Sorry.
Okay.
Not sorry.
Well, there were a few others, and I wanted to go over them because it defines why this is so much different than just a job. We have something to prove. Oh, yeah, because every one of us, including your dad, had people that told him you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, and you're going to fail. And so I got to do it, right? I got to prove that I can do it. So you're right. There's something to prove here.
And there a lot of times you feel like there's no other choice, right?
That's right.
You're either going to do it or you're not going to.
I can't go home and I can't tell Daddy he's right.
You can't go tell those people that they were right.
And your family is relying on you at that. You got kids and wife looking at you, and your wife like, I told you.
Yeah.
I tell you don't do that.
The worst thing is,
didn't I tell you go get a job?
I tell you that. Chasing no dreams, right?
Nobody ever wants to hear, I told you so.
Right? So.
And that is pressure, that is stress, that is burnout. These are insightful.
Thank you.
You owe to something here. Next one. We fake it till we make it. That is the story of my life. Matter of fact, I'm not quite sure when make it actually came. You know what I mean? I've been faking it for so long. I'm not exactly sure what make it is. But that's a true statement, which means I don't open myself up in my business 100%. Because I'm not like when somebody says, "How's business doing?" It's always great. What am I going to say, man? It was really rough yesterday.
I had no idea what that meant.
Julie made more money than me last month. That's right. You don't want to say that.
No, and that's one, and that is one. Listen, there's a place to fake it till you make it. There's, you're not going to go into a networking event and tell everybody your big problems,
right?
But you've got to make sure you've got one person to talk to who actually gets business ownership, preferably another entrepreneur, another business owner, just one other person.
Mentor, right?
Mentor, exactly. A mentor who understands it, that you feel like you can be completely open and honest with, because without that, it's a heavy load to carry on your own.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a second. I want to get to one last one, which is lacks of resource and direction, which means you really do need somebody to be able to, what you just spoke about, have this conversation with.
Absolutely, yeah. That is really the reason I wrote Burned, because when I went through my major burnout, there wasn't one set of guiding resources for business owner burnout that wasn't out there.
So you give us a solution, and we're going to talk about those in a second, right? Because I really like the way you broke this up. I'm telling you, for those of you that, let me see your book. Let me hold it up. So I'm gonna get this book. I'm taking it, whether you.
Are you gonna autograph it for us,
Julie?
Whether you let me have it or not. I'm holding this up for those of you live on the radio. I'm holding this up on the book. Please get this book. Burned. It is an exceptional book for small business people. I really do encourage you to get this book. And Julie, if you're on the book, has put in a link to for you to be able to go ahead and buy the book as well. So when you say burn, it starts, you say, with a stress. We just talked about where those stresses can come from. Don't appreciate you reminding me of some of those that I would have wished you didn't tell me. But then you say there's like these red flags. And one of the red flags is not sleeping well. I don't know if I believe that or not, because I've always been a guy that's kind of, for me, I have to write stuff down before I go to bed, or I'll be up all night thinking about what tomorrow looks like. You know what I mean? But talk about these red flags that you call them that us small business people should be aware of.
Yeah, so the red flags are actions or behaviors that we take when we're burned out. And usually what I say is there's a normal level, and then there's a burnout level. And so sleep, for example, for me, I need 7 hours of sleep a night. Now, if I go too many weeks with getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night, I know I'm approaching burnout. And the more weeks I go, the closer I get to burnout. The reason that distance is important is because you can turn it around before you get all the way to burnout. So if I have 2 weeks, I'm like, I need to do some of my burnout prevention plan because I'm getting down into burnout. Everybody's red flags are different, but I usually look for things that you can measure.
You just hit, I was going to say, the thing that you kind of won me over on with the sleeping is at least it's something to measure. So if I'm a 5-hour guy, and I'm doing 4, then I'm measured a -1. So you're just giving me a measurement there.
Correct, yeah. And another one that I use personally is how often I see my parents every week. So I can track that because I put it on my schedule. So if I want to see my parents twice a week, if I'm not seeing them, if I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, something's up.
Yeah.
Need to check in with myself. Need to figure out what's going on. So I really look for measurable actions that we take in our normal, and then either we do them or we either do them more or less as we're going towards burnout. So knowing those two measuring points, those two goalposts, and knowing what that looks like as we slide towards it can help turn it around.
I might be starting to get burnt out. I ain't seen Mama in a while. So you got this summary table of things you might want to consider. Let's go over them real quick, okay? Eliminate a task, delegate a task, do a task later. And you're saying this is the best way to start to manage this.
Yeah, so after you kind of go through the say no to new and then pausing some of those bigger initiatives, then you do have to look at what's on your everyday task list and eliminate what you can eliminate first, obviously, then delegate. If you have people who are working for you or a team, delegate as much as you can. And then I think where a lot of those to-do list exercises get off track is they don't give you the option to have a do later category. So then those just automatically stay on your list. So I put the do later category in there because sometimes we don't know what we need to do with the task that's on our table. So it's okay to, put it aside and just save it for later.
So we don't have much time, but one of the things I could tell you and I were going to get along is when I read this, which is you have to prioritize your to-do list. That's really important. I might have 100 things on it, but 2 are important. The rest I just want to get to when I can get to them.
Yeah.
And so I like that statement.
You absolutely have to do that. And that's one of the keys, I think, to managing and mitigating burnout is really getting good at prioritizing what you're keeping on your to-do list.
Give me your book one more time. I'm going to hold it up. This is my book. This is not your book. Burned. How Business Owners Can Overcome Burnout and Fuel Success. Julie B. is spectacular. Thank you so much for being here. We got to do this again. We got a whole half of a book that we haven't even got to on how to solve this problem. We got to get you back.
Happy to come back anytime.
There you go. Thank you, Julie.
And Solo.
Yes.
You want to say it? You want to end the show?
Well,
you want to do it?
I'm going too fast again, right? See that?
That's all right. You're jumping in. That's all right. That's all right. I like that you're jumping. It is Monday afternoon. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where we're talking to the new author of Burned, Julie B. How Business Owners Can Overcome Burn and Fuel Success.
Where your business matters.
WSIC.
We might have missed that.